Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new edition of Coffee with Chinooks. Joining me today is Manager of Baseball Operations, Jon Cain. Jon, cheers.
Eric,
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for the coffee. Thanks for the ride. And can I get this right? Are you Jerry Seinfeld? Is that your role in this?
Well, his ratings were down, so I kind of took over, and we're in negotiations with Netflix.
Very
right
cool.
Now. So,
very cool.
Yeah, I hope to keep this show on the Chinooks social network, but you never know.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
all right. Well, kicking things off, we just stopped by a local Starbucks. What is your coffee of choice, and where is it from?
Well, first of all, Eric, there's not a coffee that I don't like. So I'll just admit that up front. I can drink coffee any temperature, any strength,
Cold coffee.
anytime. I love all the places in Cedarburg. I'm a Cedarburg native, so the Roastery, Fiddlehead, Starbucks, doesn't matter. I've got a daughter in college who's a coffee fiend, so usually wherever she wants to go, that's where I go.
So there's a fresh pot of coffee at the Cain household every day.
Absolutely, and leftover.
Are you a Keurig or are you a fresh pot of coffee guy?
Like I said, Eric, I'll do any.
All right.
So-
Okay. All right. So let's dive into who Jon Cain is. You know, we'll kind of get into your background with the Chinooks and all that. But where did you grow up and where are you currently residing?
Well, I grew up in Milwaukee, south side of Milwaukee, and then high school age moved to Wauwatosa. And I went to Milwaukee Lutheran High School. I'm a graduate of Milwaukee Lutheran. Went to school at Valparaiso in Indiana and took my first job down in Texas. And was in Texas for 8 years and migrated back to the North Country, God's country, to raise our kids.
What was your first job in Texas?
My first job, I taught at a small high school, taught biology and chemistry, and coached every sport imaginable, and did that for 4 years before I went to grad school, and then started my college coaching career.
Very cool. Very cool. And you got an extensive coaching career background. Where have you all been over the years?
Well, after those 4 years of high school, I got my start in women's basketball at Baylor University in Waco, Texas, Big 12, Baylor. Moved, like I said, to get back to the Midwest, and actually was at UW-Madison for 3 years, and then at Marquette for 12 years. That's all on the women's side, and after things wound down and we had family and kids and settled in the area, I moved over to Concordia with the men's basketball program and have coached there for 12 years.
Very cool. It's a shame that you weren't with UW with Brian, right? He could give me a lot of tips on women's basketball at UW.
Yeah, Brian has been around. He's the man on the Gophers, the Panthers. And yeah, still, he's a good source for all of us, I think. But at least for entertainment.
A diehard UW fan.
Yes, he is. He's a diehard.
He's an army of one. So, what about when you're not coaching, when you're not deep in Chinooks work? What do you like to do with your free time?
Well, I've got 3 kids now that are all in college, so any chance I can to spend time with them, I do. I'm a walker. I love to walk. You'll see me around Cedarburg. I like to get in my steps, keep the Fitbit happy.
10,000 a day.
Yeah, and I'm also, I read extensively. I read a lot of books, and we have a perfect porch in our house in Cedarburg that I can sit there all day and read books.
Except the winter?
Even in the winter, you can find me out there occasionally.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Favorite author or book series?
Again, I hop around. I read so much. I love historical novels. I love diving into history. But being a coach, I read a lot of sports biographies and things like that. And then from a personal side, I'm always trying to strengthen my faith and just my intelligence. So I dive into a lot of other books as well.
Very cool. Favorite fast food establishment?
I think I'm a Culver's fan.
Culver's?
Yeah. You got to stick with the local place. Any place that has fried cheese curds.
Oh, yeah. They're the best.
Yeah, you'll find me there.
It's amazing. It was created here in Wisconsin, but they really branched out, and Florida's starting to get them now.
Yeah.
And when I was in Florida this past fall, people go nuts for Culver's.
Yeah.
Down there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it has it's ballooned.
Yes.
I've got a daughter out in Nebraska in college, and we can find the Culvers out there easily. So yeah, that'd probably be my. But I'm like you, Eric. I can probably eat any of them.
I'll find something in most places.
Yeah.
Favorite restaurant?
You know, I gotta stick with local stuff, and I love Atlas Barbecue.
Oh yeah, bravo.
You know, I had my 8 years down in Texas where, you know, barbecue and Mexican food are top notch, and I think Atlas Barbecue is as good as any as I had down in Texas.
Home of the annual Chinook season ticket.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Whether it's with your family or just going off and kind of having a low time, where do you like to go in the Milwaukee or Southeast Wisconsin area? Where's kind of a go-to place for you?
Yeah, you know, my wife and I, over the years, when I was coaching at Marquette, had a lot of travel, extensive travel points and things to use. And we were fortunate enough to be able to go to the American Club at Kohler.
Oh, nice.
Every year at Christmas time. And we just love everything up there. This summer, actually went up to Green Bay and went to the new lodge at Lambeau Field.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously, folks who know Kohler is top-notch anything. You don't get many opportunities to do that. But those have always been memorable.
What about a favorite vacation spot in the United States?
You know, I've had a chance to travel quite a bit. And, my wife has not always been able to travel quite as much. So any place that she and I can go to find something quiet, you know, whether it's on a lake or in the woods or mountain type things. You know, we love Colorado, which is where we went on our honeymoon. So, you know, the mountains, things like that. You know, would be top. I can't really pick, you know, anything specific, but I do like to be outside. Is
there a bucket list item that you're still hoping to cross off the list at some point?
You know, there are some major sporting events that, you know, I would love to go to. I've never been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That would certainly be up there. But some of the classics like a British Open or Wimbledon, something like that would be, you know, just incredible to experience the culture and everything else.
I'm a big TV buff and movie buff, and I think you're a big movie buff too, but favorite television show currently on television? You know,
currently, you know, I hate to say it, but I'm, you know, I've joined the world of Netflix and Amazon Prime and those things, so it's amazing how you can knock off a series real quick.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of The Americans, you know, which takes me back to my childhood or my teen years in the 80s and the Cold War. I've enjoyed that show. I also, like I said, I love a lot of historical things. I'm a big Vikings fan, and Netflix has a series called The Last Kingdom, which is based on a book series, which I loved that book series, and I've enjoyed that. When I get on my treadmill in the basement, that's the show I like to put on.
Yeah, Chris Salazar in our office is a huge Last Kingdom
fan. There you
go.
go.
What about your favorite show of all time?
Favorite show of all time? You know, growing up like I did, you know, you can go back to the old school of TV, and you know, Hill Street Blues was a big show when I was in college, and you know, we didn't miss that in the dorm or fraternity growing up or in college. So something like that, but there's so many.
What about favorite movie of all time?
You know, I think you and I can relate. We're both Bond fans.
Oh yeah.
And you know, James Bond, you know, has always been, you know, a favorite of mine, and I had a chance to go through the whole series of movies with my son a few years back.
Favorite Bond film? This is important.
Well, I'm gonna give you 3.
Okay.
Because I like all the Bond guys. You know, we can debate those to death.
Even George Lazenby.
Any of them. It's fine. I have appreciation for all of them. I think my all-time favorite Bond movie, though, is The Spy Who Loved Me, which is Roger Moore.
Yeah, it's in my top 10.
You know, Barbara Bach is probably the prime reason, but that's up there. I love the first Daniel Craig Casino Royale.
Yes.
I thought was an amazing reboot of the Bond and like that. And then I'm also old school. I love Goldfinger.
Yep.
You know, so I'm a James Bond aficionado, And those would be my top 3.
I have read the Jon Cain Encyclopedia cover to cover when I was 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you read any Ian Fleming? Any of the
Yes,
original novels?
I've read everything.
There you go.
They are great books.
There you go.
So all my 8th grade book reports are on Bond books. And I don't know how my teacher approved that, but my English teacher actually took me to meet Raymond Benson, one of the more recent Bond authors in Chicago.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, to wrap up this segment, who are some of your sports teams that you like to follow?
Well, I'm a local guy with Packers, Brewers, Bucks for sure. I did have the chance to coach at both Wisconsin and Marquette, which is a little unusual. So I kind of stay out of the Marquette, Wisconsin thing, and I revert back. My college team is Baylor because I had a wonderful experience in grad school and coaching at Baylor. So I tend to watch Baylor basketball, Baylor football, but then I'm diehard with all the Wisconsin pro teams.
Awesome. All right, well, that's going to wrap up this week's segment. We'll be back next week and talk a little bit about Chinooks baseball with Jon. This has been another edition of Coffee with Chinooks. We'll see you next week right here on the Chinooks Social Network.